guys, it's Emily here. Some of you may have met me before. If not, I'm one of the coaches from Chris's Stunt Class. In this video, I'll be covering forward rolls from kneeling and standing. All the techniques we'll be doing are safest on a soft surface. So for my kneeling forwards roll, I start here, then I bring my favourite leg up, so I'm in this position. I reach as far as I can away from my body with my opposite hand. This creates a nice big gap between my body and my hand. I then take my other arm and I reach through the gap. I tuck my head away so that when I push, I go over my shoulder and my back. I'll show you again slowly. I start kneeling. I bring my favourite leg up. I reach away with my opposite hand to create a big gap. I then take my other hand and I reach through this gap, tucking my head away and pushing forwards, rolling over my shoulder and my back. At a normal speed, it looks like this. I kneel up afterwards or I come to standing. Once we're happy with this, I stand up. There's two ways that this can be done. I start off with my favourite leg in front and I make a beach ball for my first way. So I've got a big circle in front of me with my arms. I lean forwards as far as I can before I'm going to tip over. I then allow myself to go. I roll down my arm and over my shoulder, making sure my head is tucked away and doesn't touch the floor. For the second version, I start again with my favourite leg in front. This time, I make a diamond with my hands. I reach down and I wait until I'm about to tip over, and then I go down my arm and over my shoulder. Once at a normal speed, here, however I prefer to do it, and come back to standing. Have fun with it and be safe.
Hi guys, it's George here. Some of you may have met me before. If not, I'm one of the coaches for Chris's Stunt Class. In this video, we'll be covering a backwards roll from standing and kneeling. All the techniques we're going to do will be best done on a soft surface. So to start off, we're going to look at it from crouching down. So you're going to want to start crouching like a little frog. So on the balls of your feet and with your arms crossed. As we're doing it backwards, you're going to want to make sure you have plenty of space behind you. So, I'm crouched down. I have my arms crossed over and my chin tucked in, making sure I do not hit the back of my head. When I do this, I'm going to fall onto my bum and come into a nice backwards break fall. I'm then going to get my legs and I'm going to kick them over one side. You can do whatever side you want, it's whatever you're most comfortable with. I'm going to kick them over, roll over my shoulder and back up onto my knees. So again, nice and slowly, arms crossed over, chin tucked in. I fall on my bum into a break fall. I kick both of my legs over my shoulder and onto my knees. So a bit faster now. And up. When you do this, make sure you have both your legs going over one side. Because if you have one leg one side, one leg the other, you get stuck and look rather silly and it's rather uncomfortable. So, looking at it from standing now. So this is a bit harder, so you're going to have to work on your break fall a bit more. So what I recommend is having your favourite leg in front, your other leg behind. Arms crossed over, chin tucked in. From standing, you're going to crouch down and go into a backwards break fall. Keeping your chin tucked in, making sure you apply your brakes. Just practice that a couple of times. Once you're happy with that, you're going to add the backwards roll in. So standing up, break falling, putting both your feet together and kicking them over and coming up into standing. So once more, a little bit slower. In a fighting stance, arms crossed, chin tucked in, crouching down, applying my brakes, rolling over one side into standing. So nice and fast now. Have fun, guys, and as always, stay safe.
In this video, we'll be covering some headstand variations. So for this technique, you will definitely be needing a soft surface so you don't hurt your head or your back. Variation number 1, I start the same as I always would with a headstand, which means my hands go down next to each other, about shoulder width apart, and my head goes in front of my hands to make a triangle. This is the most important bit, in my opinion, to get your headstand right. It's got to be nice and far in front, so you've got a proper triangle. From here, I'm going to straighten my legs, and I'm going to walk them in. I'm then just going to rest one knee on each elbow. When you're happy with this, you're going to start the same way. But this time you're going to try and bring your legs up a little bit further. So I'm going to get my triangle with my hands and my head. I'm going to straighten my legs and I'm going to walk in. From here, my knees come up onto my elbows again, but I then bring them up, bent above me, and I practice holding them here. After this, the next step is trying to get our legs completely straight. If this concerns you and you're a bit nervous, a thing we can do in between is use a wall to help us. So for this, I come over to my wall and I set my triangle up with my head right up against the wall. I then walk in and I push up and try and straighten my legs with the help of the wall. After this, I can try it without. We've really got to engage our core. So again, triangle, walk in, legs up on elbows, and then I fully straighten. To get out of this safely, if you feel like you're tipping over forwards, do the forward roll we learned earlier by just tucking your head in so that you don't hurt yourself. Final one, if you're really happy with your headstand and you want a challenge, we can start moving our legs around to make it more difficult. So for this, I'm going to go all the way up into my straight-legged headstand, like so. I then split my legs outwards, bring them all the way around and back up. So same as always, guys, have fun with the techniques and be safe.
In this video, we'll be covering variations of handstands. All the techniques we are going to show will be done best on a soft surface, especially for this one. So before we get into it, I just want to say, at any point while doing this, if you feel like you're going to fall over, please use your forwards roll that we worked on earlier. So to start off, you're going to use a wall. I'm going to put my hands in front and I'm going to walk my feet up the wall until my body is nice and straight. I'm just going to hold this position for as long as I can. Once you're happy with that, the next challenge is walking your hands into the wall after you're in that position. So I walk my feet up. Once I'm in position, I start walking my hands to as close as the wall as is comfortable. From here, I just want you to hold it for as long as you can. So the next challenge is now working on bringing our legs up into a position. If you don't have a wall, you can use a partner to hold your legs up as you kick them up. So this time you're going to face towards the wall, place your hands on the floor, and you've got to spring your legs all the way up from here. Yet again, I want you to hold it for as long as possible. So now the challenge is putting it all together without anyone helping you. While doing this, you may need to move your hands to maintain balance. So yet again, putting my hands up on the floor, kicking my legs up, and I have to find the balance point. Just working on that and holding it for as long as possible. For those that think that's too easy and want a challenge and a bit of a workout, you can start looking at handstand push-ups. So you're going to use a wall again. You're going to sit up the same way and have your legs up on the wall. While you're doing this, you've got to bend your arms, get your head to touch the floor, and push back up again. Try to see how many of those you can do. As always, have fun and stay safe. In this video, we'll be covering a rolling pickup. All the techniques we're going to show are best done on a soft surface. So for this, you're going to need an object that you're going to want to pick up. So you're going to place this in front of you about an arm's reach of width apart. What you're going to do is you're going to set up for your normal forwards roll. The shoulder you roll over, you're just going to leave the same. The other hand you're going to use to pick up with. So I place my arm on the floor, I start my roll, with my other arm I pick up the object. So this one is going to take quite a lot of tries to get nailed and find the right timing. As always guys, have fun and stay safe. In this video we'll be covering a backwards roll into handstand. All the techniques we're going to cover, you're going to want to have a soft surface to make sure you are safe. So this is a quite hard challenge, and as a result it's going to take quite a lot of tries and a lot of practice. So don't worry if you don't get it first time. So what you're going to do is you're going to do your standing backwards roll. I do my breakful and I start to kick my legs over, but this time I want to kick my legs up to the ceiling. So the first step is I kick this up and I just roll over my shoulder. You're just wanting to try and get the momentum to shift up. So once more, my backwards breakful and I shift my weight up. The next step is I put my hands behind me and I push myself up. So I'm here, backwards breakful, hands behind, and you try to push yourself up as high as you can, kicking your legs up to gain momentum and using your arms to push yourself up. The next step is straightening your arms completely and landing on your feet. So with that one I have to kick my legs up and over and push up with my arms. So once more, to here. As always guys, have fun and make sure you stay safe.
In this video we'll be covering some cartwheels, and same as always you'll need a nice soft surface like grass to make sure you don't injure yourself. So to begin with, I'll show you a super simple way to learn and build up to a cartwheel if you can't do one already. What we do is we crouch down and we put both hands on the floor with my right hand being the one closest to me. my fingers face away from where I'm looking, and I do a nice big jump, and I just try to get my legs as high as I'm comfortable over my arms and land on my feet. Looks super silly, but works really well. So what I do is I just keep on practicing that movement so I get happier and happier until my legs can go higher, and eventually, hopefully, I'll get them nice and straight. So I start like with that small one, and then I just work up, slightly bigger, and slightly bigger to get my legs above me. Eventually, when we're happy, we'll go from standing, put our arms down straight, and end up with a nice cartwheel. I'll show you again. If you're already really happy with a cartwheel and you're stood there going, Emily, I already know all of this, it's fine, I've got some challenges for you. So challenge number 1 is going over and doing what we refer to as a round off. So I'm going to spring off my hands and end up facing towards where I started. Variation number 2, which you can try, I'm going to do it one-handed. The easier version of a one-handed cartwheel is where I put my first hand down and skip the second one. For this, you've got to be confident and go a bit faster here. And finally, if you're really happy, the step in between this and an aerial is skipping the first hand and jumping straight over so that your second hand is the one you touch on the floor for a one-handed cartwheel, like so. Again, guys, be safe with it. Don't push yourself too hard. And if you're struggling, just stop on the one you're doing and keep practicing that.